You want to hear that the Tren twins won and they dominated and they got their IFBB Pro cards. The truth is, they won amateur, novice, first-time competitions, or competitions against people who aren't very good, and they were not in shape. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're going over the aftermath of the Tren twins competing in their very first bodybuilding competition. As you know, the Tren twins wanted to be the youngest IFBB pros in history. They hired a coach, Coach Kyle, formerly had been coached by Coach Greg, and we're gonna go over how they did at the competition. And so depending if you watched the competition or never watched the competition, you're gonna have two different opinions. Those who saw it are gonna think they bombed, that they didn't do good, and those who weren't there and saw the results are gonna think they did amazing. But which is it? And so I'm gonna go over their placings and I'm gonna go over how they actually looked on stage. This is what you need to know. They entered several different competitions. There's True Novice, Novice, and Open. And so True Novice is for people who suck, who've never been in a competition before. It's their first time. They perhaps aren't big enough or lean enough or have dieted, they don't have a coach, they don't know what they're doing, and so they show up and it's kind of like a consolation prize for people who don't have the balls to compete in the open category. And so in the True Novice division, the Tren twins, they dominated, but didn't you think this was the case? And in the Novice competition, this is for competitors who also suck. They've never placed in the top 5, they perhaps have competition experience, but they didn't do very good. But here's the thing. The Tren twins have over 1.5 million followers, and it's a channel dedicated towards bodybuilding. And so in my opinion, these guys are experts. They're not novice, they're not true novice. They are open class bodybuilders training for their IFBB Pro card. And so when I coached Ian Valère, do you think he entered the novice category? Of course not. The guy wanted to be a pro. When you're at the level of wanting to be a pro, you don't go and compete against guys who are at their first competition. And so in the open class, the regular class, the one category they should have entered, they actually did not bad. Mikey won his category and Chris placed second. Mike in bodybuilding and Chris in classic physique. But I'm telling you, if you had any expectations of these guys becoming IFBB pros, you are going to be highly disappointed. I hate to break it to you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but in comparison to what you would have expected, if you watched the Tren twins compete, you would have been highly disappointed. And so let's look at bodybuilding. We have Mike here on the left, and this guy I've never heard of on the right. Who appears to be the better bodybuilder? You can clearly see he's being outmatched. Look at the size of the quads, the definition, the shoulder size, the pecs, everything. If you had to pick which of these characters looks like they're more likely to become an IFBB pro, who would you select? These guys look like natural lifters on stage. No offense to the Tren twins, I'm a fan of them. It's true, stage is a different world of bodybuilding, not easy for everyone to go there. And so Mike specifically won the light heavyweight category for men under 198 pounds. That is where I won my national championship title, where I got my IFBB Pro card. Chris got second in his open class. In addition, they won overalls and category wins in novice and true novice. But listen, those are consolation prizes. Those are equivalent to getting a participation award for showing up. It's not a real victory. This process was extremely fun at the end of the day. Just gotta love it regardless of outcome. Brought home some novice trophies and just looking to improve. And so does that sound like the mindset of a champion about to get a pro card? Remember, many people were expecting the Tren twins to walk out of this competition with IFBB Pro cards. Coach Greg crying harder than last time. I don't know if that's because they think I'm crying at how bad they were doing or crying that they wish that I'd been able to coach them. I don't know what that comment means. So who received their pro card? Only Chris or Mike as well? This was an entry-level competition. This is not a competition to get your IFBB Pro card. You don't get your IFBB Pro card the first show you enter on stage. You have to qualify and then go to a greater level of competition where everyone is much more amazing. This is a bare bones competition where guys compete who are eventually going to go for pro cards. The best of the best, they go to the next level, and at that level they can go against actually really good competitors who then fight it out for their pro cards. The Tren twins are nowhere near IFBB pro card status. They are very good novice lifters. What that means is, for first timers, they look really good. But it's for first timers, not guys who think they can dethrone Chris Bumstead at the Mr. Olympia.
Not conditioned. He could have stood to lose probably 10 pounds. So I can say he's not in shape. So whoever did his prep needs to either adjust or he needs to find a new guy to do his prep.
And so Mark Lobliner, an IFBB pro who criticized these guys, kind of like me, I'm an IFBB pro judge, I know what they're looking for. He said, look, the guy needed to lose 10 pounds. He wasn't in shape. He looks good for a guy in his off season. The glutes are soft, the back is soft. He simply didn't bring the conditioning. And remember, I wanted to get somebody else to explain this because if I said all these things, you would say I'm lying, that I'm biased. I can tell you I don't bias. I give you my honest truth and I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. You want to hear that the Tren twins won and they dominated and they got their IFBB pro cards. The truth is they won amateur, novice, first-time competitions or competitions against people who aren't very good and they were not in shape.
So if you look at that, intercostals are starting to come in pretty soft. But this is a good-looking guy. Look at his arms right there. He's got great bicep bellies.
He's soft. He doesn't have a lot of muscle conditioning, but good muscle bellies. And so there's muscle there. It's just covered by a layer of body fat. Remember, that's where the dieting comes in. If he would have had the cheat code, 3.1, the cheat code, we wouldn't be talking like this right now. We wouldn't have people saying, he should have dieted longer, that he needs to hire a new coach. These are his words, not mine. But remember what I said about bulking up in the off season and having all these cheat meals and crumble, and if you're wanting to cheat in your diet and you just started, that you're not gonna be able to do well. Well, the Tren twins, they did their best. But their best, in my opinion, it's not nearly good enough.
Now, he does win the hair aesthetics. Best hair on stage.
I don't know about you, but when I'm a bodybuilder, I want to hear I was the most shredded on stage. I had the best vacuum pose, the best quads, hamstrings, the best abs, but the best hair. After 16 weeks of diet, it's not what I wanted to hear. Risking my health, my life by abusing Tren and other steroids to hear I had the best hair. It's almost as bad as having a consolation prize of winning the classic physique novice overall.
So again, he's under dieted, but again, lighting's not helping him. Again, this is what happens when you go on stage.
Essentially what he sees here is a guy that needs to diet for 4 more weeks. And so as much suffering as they did, as much as they could barely handle it, this is literally my off season. As hard as they dieted, they would still need to diet 4 more weeks, harder than last time, to truly get shredded. To actually go for a pro card, they would have to get significantly leaner.
Just going over like guys got great legs. Look at that outer quad sweep, the hams.
And so the positive thing is I see he has great hamstrings. Many bodybuilders are lacking in hamstrings. And if he got the conditioning, if he truly brought it, got perhaps 5, 6, 7 pounds leaner, he would look amazing on stage.
So he's in classic physique, which means there's a weight cap based on your height.
And so to give you an idea of the quality of development of the Tren twins who have a channel devoted to training harder than last time, being bodybuilders the road to pro, Jeff Nippard as a junior bodybuilder would have beaten these guys. Jeff Nippard was 100% natural. Just to put it in perspective, you all know who Jeff Nippard is. And do I look like I would lie to you about that? Do I look like I would tell you that Jeff Nippard was amazing? Do I look like the kind of guy that's going to blow smoke up your ass? Jeff Nippard, 100% natural, had a physique better than the Tren twins. Not bigger, but better, as in leaner, more aesthetic, the kind of bodybuilder that wins competitions. I myself, weighing 149 pounds when I was competing, 100% natural, 100% would have beaten these physiques. And when I was coaching the Tren twins, what did I say they should focus on? Powerlifting. Which sport do you think they're better? These guys are bench pressing over 500 pounds. They're setting records in the bench press as juniors, but yet they're competing in bodybuilding, winning novice competitions.
I don't want to be mean, but I've seen naturals who have achieved this physique. I have.
And so just because you're on Tren, just because you have sick looking biceps in the gym, it doesn't mean that when you get up on stage, you're going to look like a true freak.
So if I'm looking at this physique, I'm not going to say bring up your arms, bring up your chest. You just need to bring it up.
Now, remember, We're picking apart the Tren twins because they asked for it. These guys are open about taking Tren. They're open about competing. They want to be pros. And so when you want to be a pro, I'm critiquing you against what I would consider somebody going for a pro card. And so in comparison to people who are going for pro cards, they absolutely blew it. In comparison, let's look at harder than last time athlete, Eric Janicki. Eric Janicki competed last night. He won the super heavyweight competition. He was 6 feet tall and weighed 254 pounds. He won super heavyweight. He did not win his IFBB Pro card. And why? Because a person who competed in the heavyweight division was in fact a little bit leaner. Hey, that man had brought the conditioning. Eric was shredded, way more shredded than the Tren twins, but not enough to earn his IFBB Pro card. Was he close? Absolutely. And so if you put the Tren twins physique at the same level of Eric Janicki, then I don't know what to tell you. Eric Janicki looks like he ate both of the Tren twins for breakfast and anabolized that protein and turned it into muscle. He looks like two of the Tren twins rolled into one arm. It makes no sense, yet he didn't even win a pro card. And so for the Tren twins to win IFBB pro cards, they are going to have to put on so much more muscle and come in so much greater condition. And for guys that like to eat crumble, cheat meals, and so on, the only thing I know that could help them to do it is cheat code 3.1. One thing I think are in common with these competitors is they're not using my cookbook. In comparison, a guy that we know got absolutely peeled, Ian Valère. Or how about Joe Els? Let's look how Coach Greg's athletes looked in comparison to the Tren twins. And so do you see the glutes? I don't need to talk about anything else. These guys have no body fat whatsoever. If you look like that, and you have a lot of muscle, and you have good shape, you're winning a pro card. That is how the sport works. If you're not in that conditioning, you can say, as Mike Israel said, oh, it was my tan. I wasn't dark enough. Yeah, sure, it was the 10. If I was a little bit darker, I would have placed first. I'd be an IFBB Pro. But because my tan wasn't dark enough, they never gave it to me. Do you really think that's why Mike Israel placed 6 and 7? Or do you think he wasn't lean enough because he wasn't following my cookbook? I mean, I hate to break it to you. I tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, but it's calories in, calories out. If you're not in a deficit for long enough doing the cardio, eating low calories, you're not going to win a competition.
Personally, I think he looks really good for a true novice.
I think he looks good for an open category guy, Nick.
He looks really good for a true novice. That's like when somebody says, Coach Greg, you look good for being 48. That is such a backhanded compliment. It means nothing to me. I don't want to look good for a 48-year-old man. I want to look good for a man. When you have to start adding in stipulations, it means nothing. Oh, for guys that have never set foot on stage, they look pretty good. These guys have been using anabolic steroids, preaching about how to train. They literally have a channel devoted to bodybuilding. They're experts in the field. We're learning from them. And now we're being told that they're true novice athletes. So millions of people have been watching these guys, learning from them. I've been doing reaction videos to these experts. And all the while they've been amateur, novice, first-time competitors that don't know anything about bodybuilding, that look good for being novice. We're literally going to channels to learn from people that have no idea what they're doing. Really?
They look different on stage than they will in videos. Remember the same thing?
Yep, exactly, Nick. Everybody looks like Mr. Olympia on Instagram.
Here's the thing. On Instagram with the photoshopping and those 0.5 meter away cameras and I don't know how to explain it. The special cameras, the lighting, the angles, you look larger than life. You look huge. But truth behold, let's see what the Tren twins look like in comparison to the other competitors. Now you get an idea of what the Tren twins actually look like. Now, do they have bad physiques? Of course not. Clearly, they have above average looking physiques. They're on Tren, they train hard, they're very strong. But in comparison to elite level bodybuilders, that is where their physiques tail off.
I think it's a great first showing. I do. I just want to see a lot more showings. And that's why I hope these guys, are careful and are diligent and take their time.
And so he says, look, the conditioning was off. It was his first show. It's okay. And my personal opinion and what I tell people is you don't have to be shredded for your first competition. Just learn the ropes, figure your body out. Also, do it 100% natural, figure what you can do, and if you really enjoy it, then you can push further. First show, perhaps you compete at 8% body fat. If you like it, the next show you come in a bit leaner, 7% body fat. The show after that, 6, and then if you still have the passion, you can get to 5% or lower and go for your IFBB Pro card. There's no reason to have to do your first show and absolutely hate your life, kill off your sex drive, abuse steroids to the degree needed to win a pro card, because you have a lot of time. Time is on your hands. The Tren twins are what, 22 years of age? They're very young. They have plenty of time to grow in the sport. And so we have Nick Walker. Proud of you guys. Miracle Bear. Good job, twins. And so what is my overall take-home message from having the Tren twins compete this weekend? They have a long road ahead of them. They are not nearly large enough and not nearly lean enough to win their IFBB Pro cards. Now, considering they weren't quite as lean as they should have been, both men could have been classic physique. But overall, what do I think about them in classic physique? Well, based on what I've seen, they don't quite have the smallest of waists that are required to win at the highest level. And so although I would in fact suggest they do classic physique for now, I think long term they're gonna have to grow out of classic and physique and compete in open bodybuilding, the light heavyweight category, to win their IFBB Pro cards. Light heavyweight is 198 pounds. They're only 5'6", manlets like Coach Greg. And so if they can compete peeled at 198 pounds in perhaps 3, maybe 4 years, I do believe they have a chance to get a pro card. I don't think that they should be considering in the next year thinking they're gonna get pro cards. I know they've discussed going on bulks after this, eating more crumble than last time, going up to 250 pounds. Let me tell you, that is a mistake. If you start bulking up, getting fatter in the off season, it's gonna be that much more difficult to get shredded. I would suggest in your off season, you go up to a maximum, the max, 15% body fat, and preferably 12% if you in fact are planning to compete. The reason for that is you weren't lean enough for this competition, you would have had to diet 4 weeks more, and so imagine ballooning up to 250 pounds at say 20% body fat or more. You're gonna have to then diet from 20% to 15. That is 15 to 30 weeks of dieting. Imagine the Tren twins on a 30-week diet. Do you really think they're gonna go 30 weeks without eating crumble? What do you think would make more sense? And so Tren twins, the cheat code, it's out. They already have many of the recipes, trust me. Eat this in your off season. You can have your crumble, but other meals you have from Cookbook 3.1. That'll allow your total calories to not go crazy over limit and prevent you from getting too fat too soon. You've just competed at single-digit body fat, your physiques are looking amazing, but if you ruin that by gaining 30 pounds in a matter of 2 weeks from eating crumble every day, you're not going to be happy. Your heart's not going to be happy. Your blood work is going to be out of whack. Your high blood pressure is going to rise, and it's not good for you, and you will be taking years off your life. I would suggest you go off all your supplements right now, not even HRT. You clean out your systems and have a regroup. Don't gain a bunch of weight. Stay within striking distance of competition and reevaluate. You go up to a healthy body fat percentage. I'm gonna say it's somewhere between 12 and 15% for the Tren twins, and then I want you to maintain. Slowly build on the muscle over the course of the next year. I would suggest you enter powerlifting competitions, compete at the 198 pound weight category, of which I truly think you can excel. I think your true calling is in fact in powerlifting, especially in the bench press, and you go and set some records. You'll get the dopamine, the enjoyment from that. You'll enjoy pushing heavy weights in the gym. And when you do your next bodybuilding competition, you'll have way more muscle, you'll have less body fat to lose, and you'll come in that much sharper with that much more muscle. It'll be a night and day difference in your physiques. Hopefully you can take what you will from this video. I'm just trying to give you my honest assessment of how they did. I'm not saying they did bad, but I'm saying that they probably disappointed themselves and many of their fans who were expecting them to walk away with IFBB Pro cards. I read the screenshots. People are thinking, hey, did you both win your Pro card? They both won a novice level entry show. It's their first time competing. You don't win IFBB Pro cards in your first competition against 3 or 4 athletes. To win a Pro card, you are the best of the best. For example, if there's 50 states with competitions like this, you have 50 guys who all won the competition, all fighting for a pro card. The 50 best in the country trying to compete. So if Chris competes against the best guys in the country, he's not even going to place in the top 10, probably not even in the top 25. And so they have their work cut out for them. They have to put on more muscle, get leaner. I certainly hope they don't use this off season to just get fat and pig out and become sloppy messes all over. Interested in the harder than last time supplements and Tren Twins? When you're off your supplements, I would strongly suggest you take Turk Builder. Turk Builder, as you know, can build more muscle than ever before. Way stronger than creatine. Let's call it creatine plus. Now, it's not as strong as Test and Tren, of course it's not, but it's giving you more energy. You're gonna train harder than last time, and you can do so in a natural environment. It's not banned by water. You're not gonna fail any drug tests. Interested in any of the Turk Builder, the cookbooks, all that kind of stuff, even the harder than last time tank tops, you can get my clothing line on my website. Also, if you don't have any money, it's all good. We've got you covered. You get the free diet and training program. You join the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers, get the free diet and training program, and get in the shape of your life. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Watch one of those 2 bloops. And until next time, I am out.